Whether you are an experienced golfer who instinctively knows the very instant you hit your driver where the ball is going, or a keen improver worriedly watching your drive fly down the fairway, I'm going to tell you today why having an adjustable driver can give you both a huge advantage, whether you want to fine-tune the club to drive it further or quickly fix a fault just to make the game more enjoyable. Now, I'm going to make a big statement here. I'm going to say that most of the world's best players are using adjustable drivers now. Be that adjustability in the head of the driver or loft adjustability in the shaft. And we'll talk more about that later. But given that those players on tour can have clubs made to order, like walking into a pharmacy with a prescription, they still choose an adjustable driver. And why is that? Because they can walk onto a windy links in Scotland one week, hit some drives on the range, look at the ball flight numbers, adjust the loft down a tiny bit and find a perfect setup for that week. They could walk onto the range in Augusta with the same driver, hit some drives, look at the TrackMan numbers and tweak the weighting in the head to put a little bit of draw spin on the ball and maybe go out and win the Masters. They need their driver to perform. They trust their driver, the grip, the shaft, the head, and yet they have the ability to fine-tune the club in seconds wherever they're playing. Now, take away the caddies, take away the coaches, the trackman, the tour truck, and it's just you out on the range hitting a bucket of balls with your driver. The only data you're getting is what you see the ball doing in front of you when you hit a drive. It might be a case of, I'm swinging it well today, but this course we're going to play is very narrow, so I think I'll add a little bit of fade bias to my driver. 10 seconds later, adjustment, it's done. There's a tiny fade. Or today on this course, the fairways are as wide as an empty highway. You know what? I'm going to increase the loft a degree and have some fun, swing for the fences, as they say, like Bryson. No problem. Set up, adjust in seconds, and you're hitting it higher. Or, damn it, I can't seem to shake this slice. Again, adjust the club and tighten, swing the same, and your slice is fixed. Or, oh no, I'm hooking everything. Slide a weight. Oh wait, my hook is fixed. My point is, the benefits of an adjustable driver are arguably greater for the ordinary golfer than the tour pro. Adjustable drivers don't really even begin to flex their muscles with the pros. You are the players that really push these type of drivers to their limits. Now, before we look at where we are at the moment with adjustability, just to mention that we have an extensive and ever-growing how to adjust pretty much every driver library on the Golfbidder YouTube page. So whatever driver you own, make sure to look it up there. But for the big golf manufacturers, it's very much in their interest to have adjustable drivers. And this, no pun intended, is driving innovation. It means one driver can be made to suit vastly more players, which drives more sales. So right now, where we are with adjustable drivers is movable weighting in the heads and the ability to adjust loft in the hosel. Let's pick this one, which I just had here, the Callaway Epic Flash. It's a really great example of where we are with adjustability. This one is the Sub-Zero version with the head taken off. It's different from the normal Epic Flash for you anoraks out there by virtue of this weight here at the front. Let's call this one a fixed weight because it's not really for adjusting. But this sliding weight in the back of the heel here, this weighs 12 grams. And these weights are all set into a really light carbon containing head that's less than 10 grams. So basically, these weights account for a huge percentage of the overall mass of the head. And it only makes sense then that moving this weight back and forth in the track here changes the characteristics of this driver greatly when it's swung. So much so that a big directional miss that you're hitting can be corrected just by the position of this weight. Moving it towards the heel, for example, will cause the head to shut as it's swung down towards the ball. It can straighten a nasty slice, for instance. Moving it to the toe makes the face want to open in the strike, and that can fix a hook. And moving the weight anywhere in between the extremes leads to loads of weighting possibilities. Other adjustable heads then focus more on spin, like my Cobra Rad Speed driver here. swapping my rad speed for a football, I often think of spin like a soccer goalkeeper taking a long kick out into the wind. If he kicks the ball and it spins too much, you'll often see the ball balloon straight up into the air, hang up there and drop down around the halfway line. If he puts too little spin on the kick out, the ball will waver around in the air and he or she will lose all control. The perfect kick out spins just enough to cut through the wind, go straight and long. You'll even see sometimes the logo going end over end on TV when you look at it. It is exactly the same with your driver. Now this rad speed has two interchangeable weights, one light one and one heavy one. Now moving the heavy weight forward moves the centre of gravity forward towards the front of the club, and it'll want to keep the head pushing forward parallel to the ground for longer in the strike, thus taking spin off the ball and creating a more penetrating ball flight. If I move the heavy weight towards the back, it'll do the opposite. It'll add more spin and it will result in a straighter or possibly shorter but more forgiving ball flight. So in one driver we have left to right adjustability for hooks and slices, and in this driver we have front to back adjustability for spin rates, and they are just two examples of what is really a vast array of adjustable options out there, be they with sliding weights, pads or ports. Now pretty much all the major brands also have their own version of loft and lie adjustment in the hosel, and I've got two examples here. This one is the Callaway hosel, which has rotating cogs, and this one here is the tailor-made one, which is fixed. They both essentially do the same job, but with the fixed one you have to spin the whole shaft around. Look at the way the grip logo moves around as you adjust, and in the other Callaway one the shaft doesn't spin at all, the cogs do the spinning. But the science behind adjustable shaft is pretty straightforward. Depending on the setting you choose, the shaft entering the club head is at a slightly different angle, and the hosel will run at a slight angle to the shaft. If we look straight down the grip to the head of the club and adjust the hosel one notch at a time while keeping the head clamped, you would see the shaft would move around in a circle, almost like a clock. I can show you actually with a pen how a club head loft and lie adjustability basically works. Loft just changes the way the shaft enters the head in one plane, left to right, if we're looking at it like this. If I wanted to add more loft to the hosel, the hosel will fit into the head like this. I'm exaggerating just to show you, but if we clamped it here and when we address the club as normal, look at the way that the loft has increased on the head, and vice versa. If we wanted to reduce loft, the hosel might enter the head like this, clamp it, and when we address it as normal, look at the way the head has lost loft. Lie angle works exactly the same way, except in a different plane. If loft works left to right, then lie works front to back. So changing the lie angle, the hosel might enter the head like this, so that when we address the ball and clamp it, see the way the head has changed. It can become more upright or it can become more flat. It's pretty ingenious stuff, but it brings me to the conclusion that whether you're a tour pro or top player or a keen amateur, some form of adjustability in your driver, be it in the head where you can make big changes to the club characteristics, or the shaft where it's more subtle, or both, it has to be a very advantageous thing to have. Now this is just one video in our driver series, so make sure to subscribe to the Golfbidder YouTube channel to check out the other videos. Hit like please if you do enjoy this video. It actually means so much to us to get some likes, and stay up to date with the very latest on Golfbidder, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. For me for now though, it's Donal, out.